Magnificent. You ready for this, Tora? Magnificent. Enemy down.
Minus 5% to external appearance. Request
Did you see
assistance
that?
with cleaning.
Tora will make you gleamy shiny!
Poppy also requires cleaning.
Hello Internets, welcome back to some more Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and today we're going to be looking at even more Kos-Mos craziness. That's right, Kos-Mos is so good that she gets to have a second showcase. So, when I uploaded the Kos-Mos showcase a couple of days ago, I've actually received a lot of feedback, whether it was from YouTube comments, Twitter DMs, or even DMs in my Discord server. It was really nice to see that a lot of people had plenty of ideas to really bring out the full potential of what is one of the rarest blades in the entire game. And the thing about Kos-Mos though is that it's a bit of a grind. You have to do a bit of searching in order to bring out her fullest potential. But once she does stand head and shoulders, not against the ether cannons only, but every single blade in the game. Her damage output is extremely high, and there are several things in her affinity chart that help her reach that point. So, the whole point of today's build is to capitalize on three things. It's going to be her level 1 special, which increases critical damage by 85%, as well as her two passives, Phase Transition Tech and Hyperclock. So, this is pretty self-explanatory. Hyperclock, 100% more damage at full affinity. Affinity is really easy to reach, especially at maximum trust. Currently I'm at S rank trust, I suggest that you do the same. And there is Phase Transition Tech. This is basically 200% damage for your specials, and this particular one, if it's critical damage, then it's an additional 85% on the critical damage, so I'm pretty sure you guys know where this is going. When you have critical damage with a level 1 special, you're going to do tons of damage, and that's the whole point of using Kos-Mos. Obviously, the utility is still there for the healing effects, which I showcased plenty of times in the first video, but we're going to be having less focus on this one, because now all we care about is the damage. Obviously, this will come into handy if we need to survive, but hopefully you won't need to use that as much. In terms of Kos-Mos's aux cores, so the ones that work best for this end is the level 1 special plus, and this one is really good because it's an additional 60% in the chain attack, because obviously chain attacks, they use specials during it, and they also come with a percentage modifier all on their own, so Kos-Mos is just going to be stacking tons of damage in her first one. It's really good. So obviously the 60% is something we definitely want. As well, there is Affinity Max Attack. I'm currently using the rank 4 version because I'm having trouble finding the level 5 one. Feel free to use the level 5 one if you have it, and feel free to downgrade or substitute with Max Attack 4. It's a 5% difference, which may or may not be a big deal for some of you guys, but it's something to look out for. Both of these aux cores, the first two that I just showed you, are rewards in the Merc missions, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled on the reward screen for those. And this is Outdoor Attack up 5. This is really useful because the majority of the super bosses in the post-game of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are outdoors. So it's an additional 40%, we're looking at 300% damage for our specials right now. Really strong. And this particular one can actually easily be farmed in Tantal against the level 90 Squood enemies. You have to be there at cloudy weather, so if you're at Tantal at the lower levels and then it's not cloudy, then rest at an inn or travel to another continent and then come back, and then it should be okay. And you kind of just cycle through that is what I'm trying to say. So, when it comes to the actual driver, I highly recommend not putting Kos-Mos on Rex. The reason why is because when you have Rex, you are forced, no matter what, to have Mithra, and as good as a unit as she is, she has a low, or a relatively low ether mod of 10%. And he is forced, no matter what, to have her, so you're basically just missing out on a good 10% of your ether mod. Personally, I'd prefer to use Kos-Mos on Nia, mainly because, originally it was on Zeke, but I prefer having Herald on Zeke. It just seems to make much more sense, lore-wise, but having Kos-Mos on Nia is quite nice, because she has a 20% ether mod. Now, you can't see it because my big logo's in the way, but I have two common blades. I got these both from legendary cores, which you can easily farm from any of the bosses. I actually have that in my weapon farming video. And this Earth type has a 21% ether mod, and this Water type has a 20%. So that's already twice as much as whatever Mithra could have given us, and I highly recommend that you do the same. So that's going to be it, though. That's going to be more ethers for us. Nia's sitting on a really tidy 677 ether. And for the accessories, now because the focal point of this particular build is the critical attacks during the chain attack, so we're going to use the burst symbol because she will be the first going in, as well as the critical symbol because it increases the critical rate, and therefore we will make use of the level 1 special's critical bonus. These are the only 2 ones that you need, and really, like, theoretically you can actually one-shot most of the high-level uniques with a single chain attack, and when it comes to the super boss, it would take like 1, 2... Yeah, it would take like 2 or 3 chain attacks on against the super bosses using this build. It's really, really fast-paced, really exciting, and quite easy to use, really. And also, in terms of the team, though, like, I'm going to have Zeke, who also has ether mods on his team, and he's going to be outfitted with the optical headband, since that increases critical damage, as well as burst symbol, since he will also be starting off during the chain attack. For Tora, he will be our tank, and I would like very much to build up party meter as possible. So I'm going to give him the Omega Drive. Poppy QT Pie has already a good critical hit amount based on how I built her, so this will definitely come in useful. Also, she has a team heal, so that will definitely help with survivability. Also for Zeke, we gave him the optical headbands, and the same thing goes for Tor as well. I gave him the burst symbol. In terms of the pouch items, the thing that makes this so special is that even though we already have like a good 260% on our specials, we also get to increase that by another 24% through Astrology Made Simple. You can buy this at the bookstore at Tentel, and of course there is the tried and true Victory Smoothie, because I want to get party gauge gain as much as possible, and the same thing can be found with the rest of our teammates. I've also given them the Armu Milk Earl Grey Tea, because again, build party meter as much as possible. The sooner you can build it, the sooner the fight will be over, and the sooner the fight's over, the less likely you are to lose. Simple as that. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and cut the video, switch over to the demonstration, and enjoy what you're about to see. Alrighty, so here we are once again at the Profane's place. You guys are probably getting sick of seeing this guy, but it's Tyranititan Kuradil. And I think it's only fair that we go ahead and refight him, because the previous showcase involved us fighting against him with a very different build, and I think what better way to showcase this powerful build than against the highest leveled enemy in the game. So, just like with before, the same thing I wanted to sort of just drive home is that this particular attack, the Bone Crusher, you want to bait this as best as you can, and the Ether Cannon is the best kind of weapon for baiting it out, just because it's time spent attacking you, a person that's not there, and not attacking your own teammates. Very useful. So we're going to go ahead and use Photon, and we're going to build a Ruinous Weather Orb using Tora, who I made Poppy QT Pie as a water type. So it's just a simple matter of like kind of distancing ourselves, playing a little bit safe, and then we're going to start going for broke, cancelling out all of our attacks, like so. And we're actually not even going to finish the attack because I don't want to gain any more aggro than I absolutely have to. So we have ourselves the Ruinous Weather, we can go ahead and build it now. I'm not going to go and start the chain attack straight away. What I want to do is I want to build up a level 4 special, because I know that the Tyranititan actually has some attacks that could one-shot the entire party unless we invincible our way through it. That's kind of the thing about Tyranititan, though. He's actually a very easy boss in comparison to all the other super bosses, just because, like, he doesn't really have many threatening attacks aside from just his one-shot attacks. So again, we're over here, gonna buy a little bit more time, and thankfully Poppy is like the best tank in the game. She can actually hold aggro really, really well, even if it's the NPC, or the AI controlling it. Okay, so we're over here with our level 3 combo, and then the rest of the combo will follow suit once we're finished this, but now we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves a full heal. So right when it begins again, we're going to stack all that percentage damage into that level 1 special. It's a very, very good amount, and we're also going to see plenty of crit damage over here now that Herald is at max affinity with Zeke. Very high damage, yikes. We're actually going to reach more than halfway. I think we're going to reach like halfway of his first name on the health bar before we can actually reach it. Before this chain attack is done. So again, this could also be a full heal. We don't need it because Poppy QT kind of already does that for us, but it's just nice to have this damage anyway. And the thing is, though, is that Ether Cannons actually obtain aggro really quickly in comparison to all the other weapon classes, so it helps to sort of practice using this kind of role as often as you can. It takes a really long time to get used to it. Like, even this build right now, as potent as it is, you still have to play pretty smart about it. But still, let's, like, you know, hit quite a bit of damage here. Titan's Awakening is going to be coming in soon. I'm probably going to just let Tora do this. And he's going to... Because the thing is, being a water type, it means that you're actually going to be able to build all three parts for yourself. Here comes the Ultra Annihilation Flare. Just wait until the very last second before I cancel it out. And we're going to go ahead and almost be at full meter again. That's fun. Always nice when that happens. I'm considering building another orb. If we can build an orb, then we automatically win, because that's going to be instant kill. Okay, Murder Ray is really, really annoying. I highly suggest just crowding up, bunching up with anyone that's nearby, so that you can revive them quickly. So here, bring back Zeke to life. And we're going to use Aqua to sort of give ourselves that heal again. Also, the aggro somehow got to me, but I'm all the way up here, so he's going to take some time before he can actually attack me, which is nice. Okay, if we end up getting his health past the T in Tyranitar, then we might end up just using the chain attack once more. Okay, so again, we have ourselves this attack. It's getting stuck in there, that's great. Yeah, I think this could be a heal from Tora as well. Nope! Oh, okay, I was thinking, I was kind of thinking in my mind what we should do. I think Zeke's gonna be one to save me. Hopefully Zeke, yes. So he's building up all that meter for Splash Hazard. I'm not too worried about this. It's actually fairly easy to get our affinities back up, especially because the Trust is at S rank. Okay, we should be seeing a Splash Hazard pretty soon. Again, let's cancel like normal, wait for Kos-Mos to do the flex, give me that back. And then once I have the affinity, we're just going to go ahead and break it all the time. It only takes 2 chain attacks. All the super bosses should take about 2 chain attacks with this setup, whereas anything that is weaker than a super boss should be a one-hit kill. It's really, really good. And there we go. Just like that, the highest level enemy in the game, doomed. Just doomed to a horrible, cosmic, glorious death. But yeah, that's kind of the thing though, like in the time that it takes to build up this meter, then chances are they'd kind of already have a good amount of their health chunked down. But, like, again, it just makes the game that much easier. That's why Kos-Mos is the rarest blade at the moment. It's just because she has very high potential, but once you reach that potential, as difficult as it is, you're gonna have a great time. And that's the nice thing about Kos-Mos, though. It's just a rare blade, but totally worth the wait. And I highly recommend using it for anyone that just wants to one-shot most of their enemies anyway. Like, even if you're just using the level 1 special on regular enemies, it's going to be a one-shot most of the time. It's very potent, and I can't wait to see more of this stuff. So, yeah, that basically concludes today's quote-unquote showcase. Thank you very much to all the people that gave input. There was a bunch of you guys that actually told me about all the crazy things that are circulating around the internet over different ways of just approaching the game. Everyone has their own playstyle, everyone has their own approach, and sometimes we actually see something very special, just like this Kos-Mos build. So guys, thanks very, very much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.